Call to order at 5:32. We start with the pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic in which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Roll call, please. I do those backwards.
It's okay. You know, I'll switch it. Switch it on the agenda. I was just thinking that. It's okay.
President thing.
Yeah, you can do that. Okay, President Gamer.
Here.
Secretary Duval, absent. Treasurer Parker, here. Director Brown, here, and Director. Here.
Let the record reflect that we do have a quorum. We will move right into consent items. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I have a revision.
Please.
We need to remove the executive session. We're gonna do it in public meeting.
Agreed. I was gonna say the same thing.
Okay. Well, they're doing what?
Just do it in public.
Oh, okay.
Executive session.
Okay. I make a motion with the revision of removing the executive session to approve the agenda.
Second?
One second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of minutes from November 12th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve minutes. November 12th, 2025.
Second?
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve minutes from November 12th, 2025. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion on the table, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Public comment, we'll open it for public comment or limited to 3 minutes. When you're recognized, please stand, state your name and address the board in professional manner. Anybody on Zoom would like to address the board? Hearing none. Financial reports, expenditures year to date 2025.
Two things. I did put something at each one of your stations there. I want to go over with you tonight. First thing though I want to talk about is the fact that your financials are not reflective of a check that I issued yesterday to Excel Pump. I just got the invoice yesterday to cut the check, so it was not included in the report I did last week. That was for $27,907.38. It includes the removal of the loaner pump, lift station pump over at the sewer plant, and a replacement of 2 new lift station pumps, both of which are now installed and fully operational. This will actually fall under your, if you're looking at your percentages on your budget, GL 6731 infrastructure repairs and maintenance for sewer. You budgeted for $50,000. This now brings your total for the year to $83,19, making you $33,019 over budget in that one line item. The second item I want to bring to your attention is the invoice I have in front of each one of you for Headways Consulting. That invoice also is not included in your month's financials because I have not paid it yet. I wanted to have some discussion with you all and get some direction. You'll see on that Paul billed for an additional 5 hours at $75 an hour, or a total of $375, which is beyond his 13 hours a week. That job was performed on an unscheduled day and without prior approval. From my stance, the extra work involved in draining and then refilling that storage tank in preparation for the painting project that ultimately did not proceed, Paul claimed he his immediate return to the next day was due to other issues discovered the previous night. However, those issues were not communicated to me or this office prior to him performing the work. I only learned of them after contacting him to ask why the contractor declined to proceed with the project after the tank had already been drained. Because the tank was originally expected to remain offline for 30 days, from my point of view, the refill could have been completed during his normally scheduled visits and within contracted hours. The decision to perform the work immediately and to invoice additional hours was made independently by Paul. So I would rather have you all make the determination if you want to pay those extra hours than my continuous back and forth with Paul. Paul is online if you want to discuss it with him.
Hey, Paul, can you hear me?
Yes,
So explain to me what exactly that was and what, just give me an overview on what that was and why we did that and all that.
so there's actually a lot more hours involved. I was notified by McGuire Iron that they were going to do the tank project, so I had to scramble to make sure everything was ready. I ended up going to Fort Collins to try and find a valve because one of the valves was stuck. I got the valve open. I did not have to replace it because the valve that they were trying to sell me was the wrong valve. I'm trying to get a rebuild kit for that valve. And then, so I got everything off and ready to go. And then we got a call that morning that they were not going to do the tank. They wanted to wait till next spring. So I set everything back so it would run and got it going. And then when I came back the next day to check on everything, the tank was still low. It had not filled up. So I had to manually run the tank and the wells and everything to get that tank filled back up. And I spent the day just making sure that it actually filled this time. So it's only 5 hours. If that's going to be a big issue with the town, that's not an issue with me. I can remove it. But there are a lot more hours. I don't bill a lot. Like I've been out with John Leary to do that lift station, and I didn't charge anything for that. And I've spent a couple of days, full days, with him removing pumps and putting in new pumps, and so.
What's the bench feeling?
After hearing that, my opinion is we paid just because he has done several hours and if he's not charged us and if he was trying to keep us up to making sure the tank's full, in my opinion.
Anybody else? Hey. That's your director, Jim.
There you go. I will get it paid tomorrow.
Thank you. for
You're very
bringing
welcome.
Our attention.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Okay. Anything else on financial report?
What was the CDOT service line repair? Was that the leak on 6730? It's in KW repair.
That was the leak that was on the fire station practice field or their training facility field, and it leaked after the service line. It actually was leaking at the tap on the water main, and that's the big 12-inch water line that comes down from the tank. And Iconic Excavating was the one that dug that up and made that repair.
You good?
I'm good. Yes, sir.
Anybody else have questions? Excellent. We'll move on to reports. Paul, I think you're up first.
Okay, so as Kim mentioned, both lift station pumps are in and working. They removed the loaner. When we went to one pump, Brownshill had to come out and redo the controls so that the system would run off of just one pump. We will need to call them back out to fix the controls so that they will run on two pumps and alternate between the two pumps so that one pump is just not running consistently at the sewer plant. Then at the water plant, when we were trying to set up this, so the way this system currently works is the well comes on when the chlorine contact tank gets down to 9 feet, and then it stays on until the high service pumps shut off, and then it fills that contact tank back up to 12 feet. So when we tried to drain it and get it to bypass that, it still did not completely work where it would run automatically. So Browns Hill is going to have to look at that controls on a day that I can be out there, and we're going to have to simulate. So I'll close all the valves from the tank and try and run just the well into the system, but they're going to have to be on site at the same time to work the controls to try and bypass all of the parameters that are in the current system. Like if the chlorine contact tank gets too low, it shuts everything off. So they need to bypass that setting. And then everything will work off of the high service pumps, which only work off the big tank.
Okay, I didn't get all that.
I didn't, yeah. Do my
I'm sorry.
So it's a control issue that needs to be repaired?
Yeah, so Brownsville will have to work on both the water plant and the sewer plant to work on two different control issues.
Okay.
So interesting.
Okay. Excellent. Any questions for Paul?
Nope,
Excellent. Thanks, Paul.
All right, you're welcome.
thank you.
Kim, you're up.
Actually, don't have anything.
It's be Christmas.
It's
Uh,
the last meeting of the year. We're not going out with bang. We like, I insist on peace.
Sasha.
Okay. All right, so, the system tool report, we have, a bit more loss than last month. Not sure why, except, we still have probably 8 to 10 of those meters that are still malfunctioning, not reading. I'm not sure that they are enough for that amount of loss, so I don't know if some of that happened with draining the tank and refilling the tank and, so I would guess that there's some of that in there. But that's above my pay grade kind of thing. That's maybe a Paul question, but, and then I sent out 23 warning letters this month, but no shut-offs. So, well, 6 one, half dozen the other. I guess we'll see what next month looks like after Christmas. Other than that, I don't have too much on my end. We're just kind of cruising along, so.
Yeah, that water loss is rather concerning. When you
Yeah.
say you have meters that aren't performing, are those new meters or are those?
No, they're all ones that were put in about, like, they were the
Like at the
first
beginning of
new
the
meters. So they were ones that were put in at the end of 22, start of 23. They are all basically over in Ute. It's my understanding they were put in before we got the ones with the freeze plates. So I'm guessing that they are broken. And they're just reading 0. So,
But if the freeze plate failed, they wouldn't get water, but they,
yeah, but I don't
Right.
even know if they had a freeze plate.
no.
So,
I don't
so I
know.
have a call into Neptune about those meters to figure out what's going on because there's no parts on the inside. So it should not be an issue. Water's flowing through the meter, just not registering.
Yeah.
So do you have any idea where the loss was at, Paul?
I do not. I don't even know how much the water loss was.
46%,
Sasha,
46%.
wow. Yeah, I don't know. We'd have to look into that. It could be in when we drained the tank, depending on when we filled it, if it was after the last meter reads or.
Yeah.
So I'll have
And
to
that
look
was-
into that.
That was my guess, is that it might have had to do with the tank drain and refill.
Sasha, these are meters you've already told him about, right?
Yes, ma'am.
How many times have you told him about them?
2 or 3.
Thank you.
Excellent. Not excellent, but excellent. Thank you, Sasha.
Yep.
Yeah, we need to get a hold on that. That's almost half of what was out.
Yep,
I know.
yes. I was a little surprised. I was like, oh, but that's,
Yeah, that's the concern.
yeah.
So,
And you know how many meters that actually is that it's doing that?
Like I said, it's like 8 to 10. I would have to go and look at the exact number. But,
I was curious as.
There would have to be somewhere else with the 40% loss.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, those meters are not gonna equal up to that much loss,
No,
but. So that's why I thought maybe it was when they, cause we drained the tank and refilled it right around that time, so that was my thought, but. Like I said, that's not on my side of the expertise, so
so how do
I just
we,
do the numbers.
okay, how do we know what's going on with what meters where? Is that part of your,
Yes,
Your
so what
guidance
happens
thing?
is, no,
oh,
no,
I mean, what?
so what happens is. Paul reads the meters. And that includes the well, so he'll read the well, so like here. The well said it produced. 2.6 million gallons.
Okay.
Okay, that's what it says it took out of the well that we
Right.
pumped. So then it says the water we sold. So the water after Paul read the meters and I input the meter readings in, then it says this is how many gallons you
So,
sold.
Yeah.
So the problem is we are missing 1.2 million gallons.
right,
So,
but you don't know where that is exactly.
no, like I said, I can tell you that we have those chunk of meters that are reading 0, so I know that there is some there.
Mhm.
But most households use between like 3 to 5,000 on an average month. Now, summertime,
Yeah,
and there's a few households that run 8 to 10 because they got lots of kids and, so like my son who takes like 2-hour showers every day. But most households run between that 3 to 5. So even there, I mean, you're looking at 50,000 to 100,000 gallons. Then that would leave you with still 1 million gallons missing. So
So I assume we take into account what we have in the tanks then. In that figure, so the pump pumps 2.6 million gallons, we sell 1.4 million gallons.
Yep.
But we have 1 million gallons in storage and 100,000 gallons in storage. So do we take that into account we haven't sold it yet because it's still in the water towers. Or the water holding. So my question is, do we take that into account? Do we get a reading on, okay, when we read the meters and we did this calculation, we still have, say 800,000 gallons. Cause we know how much is in that tower, right?
Mhm.
And we have, 80,000 in the contact tank. So do we take that into account? That's my question, because you haven't sold it yet,
Right.
but you've pumped it.
Right.
So is that part of why we're getting these big losses? Because we have that in storage?
No,
Paul?
because it all balances. So what comes in is supposed to go out. So there's got to be another issue. So I'll have to investigate this and see if I can figure out what's going on. Usually we get a water loss if the tank overflows, which I think it overflowed a little bit one day a couple of weeks ago, but I haven't heard of anything since. So I will have to check and make sure there's not an issue with that transducer over at the tank.
When it gets super, super cold, we'll have some water loss just because it freezes and over,
the cows didn't get into the water tower yet.
Not as far as I know.
It usually happens in the.
Yeah, not really no.
They've been
So,
up there though. They've been up there though.
yeah, didn't get that back. Yeah, so I'm glad
Okay,
he could answer that.
okay. Moving on to new business, discussion and possible action, service agreement with Headways Consultants.
In your packet, I wrote you all a letter that, with your permission, I'll read it into record.
Please do.
Dear board members, I'm writing to provide a summary of ongoing performance concerns related to Paul Grant and Headways Consultant LLC, and to formally request authorization to issue immediate written notice of the authority's intent to terminate the independent contractor agreement. The termination to become effective 7 days from the date the notice is issued in accordance with the terms of the agreement. For a little context, background and November 2024 follow-up letter. As previously reported, significant concerns regarding Mr. Grant's performance have persisted for several years and were comprehensively documented in my November 2024 follow-up letter. That letter memorialized our meeting regarding multiple compliance and service failures, including the CDPHE violation notice for failure to monitor a timely report received on November 18, 2024. Utility locate renotification cost, chronic delays in required monthly reports, and missed operational deadlines. In addition to compliance failures, I must highlight that the authority continues to face multiple maintenance issues and operational concerns at the sewer plant, many of which extend far beyond what has previously been disclosed to the board. These issues, some longstanding and some newly identified, are expected to cost the authority thousands of dollars to correct, and they underscore the urgent need to move the authority out of the perpetual reactive stance it has been placed in for years. These problems also demonstrate a lack of proactive, competent oversight and materially impact the authority's financial planning, regulatory posture, and ability to maintain reliable operations. In addition to the concerns documented in November 2024, I must advise the board that the Tier 3 public notice requirement associated with the November 18, 2024 CDPHE violation notice remains unfulfilled, despite explicit direction to complete it promptly. As previously reported, CDPHE determined that required monthly testing was not reported within the mandated timeframe, triggering a Tier 3 public notice obligation. Under state law and Section 5DI of the agreement, the contractor is required to comply with all monitoring, reporting, and public notice requirements. Despite acknowledging responsibility for the violation and being reminded repeatedly, including in person, Mr. Grant has still not posted nor distributed the required public notice. This is an ongoing violation, now more than 3 months old, and represents a material breach of the agreement. It exposes the authority to continued regulatory risk and undermines both the CDPHE's confidence and the authority's efforts to rebuild community trust following the compliance issues of 2024. The Tier 3 public notice failure is part of a broader, well-documented pattern of material deficiencies, including repeated late or incomplete reporting, failure to timely perform required utility locate responses, missed deadlines for critical projects such as hydrant flushing and digital meter procurements, inadequate communication with staff and regulators, and failure to meet operational and compliance obligations fundamental to the authority's responsibilities. Despite clear notice, multiple discussions, and a stated opportunity for improvement, these issues have persisted without meaningful corrective action. Combined with the newly identified and unresolved maintenance concerns at the sewer plant, it is evident that the contractor has not provided the level of performance, expertise, or reliability required to meet the authority's operational needs. The independent contractor agreement authorizes the authority to terminate for cause and or for convenience upon written notice pursuant to Section 7. Given the material breaches described above, the contractor's failure to comply with regulatory requirements, the significant unaddressed maintenance issues, and the repeated pattern of inadequate performance, issuance of an immediate notice of intent to terminate is appropriate, necessary, and in the best interest of the authority and the public we serve. In light of the foregoing, I respectfully request that the board, 1, authorize the administrator to issue written notice of the authority's intent to terminate the independent contractor agreement with Headways Consulting immediately upon board approval. Number 2, direct that the termination become effective 7 days from the date the notice is issued, consistent with the agreement. And 3, authorize staff to initiate transition measures, including securing interim or replacement operations and compliance support, obtaining transfer of all operational, reporting, and regulatory records, notifying CDPHE and other partners of the transition to ensure continuity of service. I am prepared to provide the board with the agreement, supporting documentation, and a draft termination notice to be issued immediately upon approval. Thank you for attention to this critical matter and for your continued leadership in protecting the authority's operational integrity, financial stability, and regulatory compliance.
Comments? From my conversation, the sewer plant was quite the slap in the face.
There's a lot of disrepair now there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't understand why our water meters are not on them, like 4 or 5 years, that I don't understand.
It was just underway when I came in the office in September 20. It's supposed to be a 3-year project.
I think there's some significant efficiencies to legitimize this change, so it's my opinion.
Just so you know, next week, Sasha and I have to issue that letter. It has to go out by the end of this year. It was due by November 14th. There was 1 year to get that letter out to our public. And this is the 3rd one that this has happened since I've been in this office. That the public has to be notified of a deficiency so severe that a letter has to be sent to them in their mailbox. To the public. So he was given this notice a year ago. I received the same notice. I asked him a week ago what his status was on it, and he told me there was no notice that needed to go out on it.
That notice is explaining what exactly?
It's explaining that he had a material deficiency in his reporting. And that he needed to make the public aware of that due to the tier level that it was placed on. So that was something that was noted in the November 2024. That's what prompted the November 2024 discussion and letter advising him that his performance is under review. A year later, in December, past the year deadline, and he had to get that letter out. It has still not been issued. So Sasha and I next week will be typing the letter up and mailing it to each one of the residents. And I will explain to the CDPHE why this has happened. And hopefully we won't have to endure any kind of ramifications because of it.
Because we could get fined for that.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. So I need to get out ahead of it before they figure out that we're delinquent and getting it done.
So what is the process then of, do you have to send the letter first and then we decide, or
No,
what?
we-
No, you have to send a
You
letter
decide
no
today.
matter what.
Yeah,
Okay,
It should have been sent in November by Paul.
okay.
I think the decision we have to make tonight is whether we send a notice of termination for Headways Consultants. So that would be the decision we have to make.
Okay.
Well, by doing that, that'll set up the place and go. Something different direction.
Yes.
And is that something we have to decide on tonight too, about whether we engage Wolf?
Yes, because if we do terminate Headways, we have 7 days. Yeah.
Once I give him that letter,
Yeah,
Once you receive the letter.
no, once I issue it to him.
Yeah, you issue.
From the date that it's dated,
Yeah.
yes,
So do we have to decide that tonight too?
yes.
About hiring Wolf or someone else, whoever?
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. Because we have to keep that continuity going.
Yes, we do. We have a lot of work at the sewer plant. To get back to a good position. It's going to cost us thousands of dollars. We had a tour of it a week ago.
So we have no further discussion. If somebody wants to make a motion, whatever we think here as a board.
I'll make a motion to issue the 7-day termination letter for Headways Consultants.
Perfect. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to terminate, give 7-day notice to terminate our agreement with Headways Consultants. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, if the clerk would please take a roll call vote.
President Gayheart,
Aye.
Secretary.
Aye, treasurer. Aye.
My bad. Director Wager.
Aye.
Okay, and Director Brown.
Aye.
Okay, that's 4-0.
Motion carries 4-0, no opposition, directly, clerk to, draft that letter, as soon as possible. Thank you.
Welcome.
Always tough to make those decisions.
Yeah.
Gotta do what's best for our authority.
Right.
So moving on. To discussion and possible action of proposed contract of Wolf Compliance Consulting LLC. In your packet was, that contract and agreement. Kim, I'll let you expound.
Sure. The town of Stratton contracts with a company named Wolf Compliance. The administrator gave me their contact information and I reached out to them. They are a great group of individuals, very skilled at what they do. I have asked Mr. Wolf and his partner, Chris Cobley, to join us tonight and they are on Zoom. You have in your packet an agreement for professional services. Followed by an attachment, which is, their original proposal. The purpose of attachment is their scope of work that they detailed in there. There was some negotiation with Wolf Compliance, with myself and Colin Milky, who's your attorney. He's online as well. Colin, do you want to speak to this in any way, since you did draft the agreement? And kind of summarize, kind of high level, our conversation and your feeling as legal counsel moving forward?
Sure. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hi, everybody. So, yes, as Kim said, our office was contacted to draft up an agreement with Wolf Consulting, or Wolf Compliance Consulting. It's pretty similar to actually the one that you had with Headways. It's updated a little bit, taking into consideration also some comments that Wolf Compliance had asked to be put into the agreement as well. But the big one that remains, at least from a legal consideration, is that Wolf Compliance is pretty adamant that there be an arbitration provision in there. I had talked with Kim about our firm's preference that you not have arbitration, because it kind of ties the hands of the authority a little bit in with regard to how you pursue your remedies if there's a contract violation. But that being said, um, it's it's not the end of the world either. So if you're, it's really kind of a board decision as to whether or not you're comfortable with an arbitration clause in your agreements or not. Obviously, if there's a breach of contract, then it just dictates the venue that you're going forward in to resolve that breach of contract, an arbitrator versus a court in a district court. But happy to answer any questions that you have at all about the contract provisions or arbitration in general.
Anybody have questions?
Laurel's mouth is open.
I know. Can you explain the arbitration situation compared to just having what did you
Mediation.
say, the ability to just,
Absolutely.
cancel the contract or whatever I'm sorry, what you said?
Yep. So you still have termination provisions in the contract, so that's not impacted. But if there were a breach of contract and you needed to assert your rights under the contract, say, something was done incorrectly at the wastewater treatment plant and you had to sue to get it fixed properly. In an arbitration situation, you'd be going to an arbitrator and they would hear both sides. It's a little bit less formal than, say, the regular route, which would be you file a complaint in district court or county court, putting forth your case, and then they have to answer. And then you have a trial or, pre-trial motions and discovery and things like that. So arbitration can actually be a good thing in certain situations because it could be a little bit more cost effective, but it would just be if you felt strongly about your case and wanted it to be heard by a judge, that would not be an opportunity in this case. It would have to be heard by an arbitrator. Now, to give you a little bit more flavor too as to why it's been requested that an arbitration provision be in this agreement, the concern was that as an operator of a small business, if the district were to sue on the contract, the fear would be that the district authority would potentially elongate the case. Like I said, filing motions and doing discovery and things of that nature that can cost a lot of money. I don't think any of us think the authority would ever do that. But from a contractor's standpoint, the concern is that he doesn't have the financial resources to withstand a years-long litigation or lawsuit. And so it's really a protection for his business, which is understandable.
So what have we done in the past? The authority or
We've put in a mediation clause.
We did put a mediation.
To start a mediation,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, okay,
Mr. Wolf is actually on with his partner, Chris Copley.
okay.
Mike, would you like to speak to the board and give some insight to who you are and, your company a little bit and maybe speak to the agreement that we've been talking about?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, so my name is Michael Wolf. We have a company, as you heard, Wolf Compliance Consulting. We do very similar work to other contract operations companies. We've been in business for about 5 years now. I have some experience not only in private utility, but also municipalities. I've worked for the city of Aurora. I've been the chief plant operator there. Then I was the district manager of a utility in Brighton called Todd Creek Village Metro District. Since then, moved on and become a independent contractor with my partner, Christopher Cobley. And we have a group of about 7 operators now, all of which have some sort of certification or are working on some sort of certification. Excellent team of people that are here to support your needs. As far as the contract goes itself, I think Colin explained it very well. The arbitration agreement portion is strictly to protect us from a long drawn out and very expensive legal issue if ever something does arise. I will tell you, we have not had that issue up till now. We have no history legally in needing to go to arbitration or court for anything like that, but that is why we ask for that in there. And it's just part of our legal's request of this is what's best for our company.
I get it completely.
Yeah.
I understand.
I would like to share with you too, some of the things I did discuss with Mike. Moving down the road, there, like I've said, there's a lot of work that is still to be done at the sewer plant, a lot, and I don't know what that looks like at this point, okay? Until Mike and Chris and their team gets in there and gets hands-on and gives us a better idea of what that's gonna end up entailing, then we'll get a time frame, hopefully,
Kind of checklist.
and a checklist. But the contract price that you're looking at right now is where we're at to get us to a good place, because there is so much work that's gonna have to be done, okay? I discussed with Mike, for a while about the fact that there are other municipalities that have public works people like we have. We have Teddy, we have Mendez, who go in there, and I have other administrators from other municipalities that do it themselves, small rural ones, that do the testing themselves, the water testing and such. They take it to the labs themselves. That saves on cost, from them having to come in here and do that. So he's willing to train the guys, to do some of that stuff here in-house. Maybe we get to a point where they also read the meters for us, since it's a drive-by thing now. But there's areas now that we could start utilizing town staff to try to save in some of those costs. That will be down the road, but there's options there to do that now. So Mike was clear that this is our contract price. With time, it would go down. Their need to be in this town as much will go down. Right now, we're looking at 18 hours a week, is what they're offering us. So once we get everything stabilized and back on a good footing, their presence in the town, will be less and less. And we'll have town staff that can help start assisting in some of the areas that, will keep some of the cost down as well. And that amount on the contract will go down once we start requiring less of their presence here.
So is the contract reviewed? I thought I saw it someplace in here, it is reviewed once a year or something?
Yes,
Okay. So that they can make adjustments
yes, ma'am.
for what's going on and what they need to be doing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Mike, did I leave anything out?
No, ma'am, I think you covered it nicely.
And I was with Kim when Mike and his team were out and we did the tour of the water. The house down here, and then we did a tour of the sewer plant, and in that tour, we identified a lot of maintenance issues, a lot of things that we were unaware of at the sewer plant that were issues. And so I took Brett down there just to get more eyes on it, just for the board. And so Brett can also speak to the deficiencies that are visual, and that's not the deficiencies that because we don't know what's going on with the rest, but so that it was just visual deficiencies and maintenance items and, stuff that.
Which were extensive,
Yeah.
just visually.
Extensive maintenance, and if you guys want to go on a tour, I'd be more than happy to take you.
I'd like to go in.
So-
So Kim got my ear for an hour and a half. I have a pretty good visual.
Yeah, so, yeah, and I know Kim took a lot of photos, if you wanna see photos, but if you wanna go, we'll get together and I'll take you down there and you can
Yes,
see for
I-
yourself. But
I think that's important that we're on the board. We don't even know, or I don't even know exactly what the facilities are.
Laura, I've been here
So-
5 years and that was my first time stepping foot
Wow.
in the sewer plant, in the plant itself.
And my question, so are you gonna send one staff member down to us at a time, or is it possibly your team? How do you approach that?
Up front, what we typically do is we'll typically bring a couple operators at a time, just so we can all be on the same page of what kind of work is being done, what things need to be learned, what things need to be watched. That doesn't add any cost to you. I think that's really just a part of getting to know the system and ensuring you guys have the coverage you need. In the future, like if you have the need for us to have, two people in the middle of the night come out and dress a large leak or something like that, then there would be a charge for two operators. But just normal visits and in our normal course of business, we need a couple eyes on this place, just to ensure that it's not just one person that's learning these things, it's a group of us.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they came to meet us, I was expecting to meet Mike. They came with a team and I wasn't prepared for that, but it was nice to see because that till now has been a large part of our problems, just never having enough staff, never having enough feet on the ground. And I feel good about this.
so do I.
I do too.
So do I, absolutely. So if we're comfortable, I would, and we don't have any other questions. If somebody has other questions, please throw them out there. Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to approve the contract with the Wolf. And I'm sorry,
Wolf compliance.
Wolf compliance and to have that contract read that we decided to leave out the arbitration portion of that.
Yeah, I see some formatting issues in here, so let me correct those and then we'll get that signed tomorrow.
So, Mike, you can come on within the 7-day time frame if we choose to go your way.
That's not an issue at all. The agreement that we've presented is actually dated as starting 7 days from now.
Okay. Okay. Okay, well, I make a motion then, if we approve contract of Wolf Compliance Consulting LLC. Immediately, with your revisions.
Yes, I'll make them first thing in the morning, Donnie. I'll get a hold of this for signature.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the proposed contract of Wolf Compliance Consulting. Any further discussion? Hearing none, clerk, if we can do a roll call vote, please.
President Gabehart,
Aye.
Treasurer Parker,
Aye.
Director Wager,
Aye.
and Representative.
Aye.
Yeah, that is a 4-0 vote.
Hearing no opposition, the contract with Wolf Compliance is approved. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes.
Thank you.
For your efforts and look forward to a smooth transition here.
We do as well, and we will do our best to make sure that transition as smooth as possible.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
And Colin, thank you for your work too.
Yes, Colin, thank you very much.
Happy to help. Great to see you all. And Michael, we'll look forward to working with you as well.
Thank you, Colin.
All right. You all have a great night.
You too.
Thank
Thank
you.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Yes. Merry Christmas.
Cool. All right, thank you, guys. Moving on, old business, Right Water, Iowa Water Authority draft water plan. Finally.
Yeah, finally. It is. Unless I'm missing some, it is much thinner.
It's down to what, 100 pages?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a
It
novel.
was what?
It
Two
was
something
like,
or
it was like
what?
2 something, yeah.
Oh,
It was insane.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I did not read every page.
I have not had a chance to either,
Did I?
just, I'll be completely honest with you.
I did the first one, I haven't.
Yeah.
I've read most of them. No.
My eyes didn't stretch, there were a couple.
Yeah, and we
Right.
just got it a few days ago. So we really haven't had a chance to go through it a bunch. I wanted to make sure that you guys had it in your packet and then it was out there. If you want to take time to review it and then we can get back to it in January if you like.
I think that'd be a good idea. I did look at my old review.
Yeah.
So looking,
Compare 'em.
well, quick question with it, they're talking growth within the town. What's the feasibility growth here?
There is
The town
feasibility.
limits?
There is, well, within the current town limits, no.
No.
So,
Up here.
well, there is up there,
Urban,
there's
yeah.
land all around us. I won't say it connects all around us, okay, but our comprehensive plan identified certain areas that could be annexed into the town, potentially for development, okay? We had a gentleman come to us last night at the town meeting. He owns the property to the north of the mobile home park. It butts up to the mobile home park. He came to us and talked to us about his proposal to annex that 41 acres into the town and put a tiny home community on it. So it's a dream of his. He's owned that property for many, many years. He wants something to leave his kids. So there's that potential up there that just came up last night.
Who is
Okay.
that?
John Harden is his name.
I didn't know that. I thought Malone had all that, but.
No, he doesn't.
No.
No.
Malone does
Malone has a lot.
have, so our town limits stop at Foster's up here at County Road 134 across from Road and Bridge Building. If you go across the road, that starts Malone's land. It
Right.
goes all the way up to the edge of
Track.
the town's land up there, yeah. And there's other areas out past Road and Bridge that are identified as potential areas that could, if at some point they want to annex into the town. Because they're not John Malone's land, they're not conservation land, essentially. But yeah, there is room for growth. North, south, east, and west. Potentially.
Little bits here and there.
Will that ever happen? I don't know. I've learned with my age, never to say nothing. Time I do that, somebody proves me wrong.
Okay, so
So
we're
I said we put it off just because you're meeting with Emmett tomorrow. You see what we got
Yeah.
planned.
Okay, so you want it put on the January?
And really, this is not a hot issue for the road and bridge
Right.
until summer,
Right.
or at least spring.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
their need for bulk water
Just
is so low during the winter time,
Yeah.
yeah.
We ever hear about the IGA?
Nope.
Still?
That is something I talked to Colin about. I have sent, I've been doing this since August with them.
Yeah.
And every single time I email the commissioners and their attorney. And Colin asked me when we were talking about this other issue, if I would like them to get involved in that, and I said, yes, at this point, I really don't know what else to do. I have a monthly standing meeting with a commissioner. It's brought up at that meeting every single month. And the week before your meeting, I send an email every single month asking what the status of it is. Have you reviewed it? Do you have any feedback? And I have gotten nothing. I've been absolutely ghosted on it. So I know that they have minutes reflecting the fact that they discussed this during a meeting. They needed to get bulk water restored to them, and they agreed and voted to pay for half of this. So that's reflected in minutes. So we already know that's been done. So Colin and Paul are now gonna send a communication to them, and maybe through both legal sides, they can open some line of communication. I have no idea, but it's not just this IJ either. It's other, we have 2 or 3 things from the town side that we're working with them on. And I do what they ask us to do on our side, and then I don't hear another word from them. And all I get is how busy they are and this,
We're all.
we're all busy. I mean, don't tell me how busy you are. You got a whole freaking county staff over there and 3 commissioners. I don't wanna hear it, so.
Yeah. Good. All right, sounds good. Next item on the agenda is the proposed annual 3% increase to water. That is a yearly, that was put into place a few years ago, that would be reviewed annually, correct?
Yes.
Yes,
Yep, and that would take effect February.
yes, because that would go to the backwards to the January bill, yes.
And unfortunately, with the maintenance costs that we're incurring on these systems, I don't see how we can't do an increase. I mean, I hate it, but I just don't see how we can go on spending the kind of money we are on maintenance and issues and not have it.
Because my question to you guys,
I know, that's my opinion.
I've been hammered with water rates
Yeah.
this year.
my question to you guys is, do you wanna direct it to sewer, which is where the majority of your problems are at, if you're gonna do that though? Or do it across the board?
Did we do sewer last time?
You did just a sewer last time.
So what would that raise it to?
I don't know, Sasha.
I will have to go do some math and get back to you.
3% on the base,
Yeah, 3% on the base.
I think it's what, $59 right now?
that's
think
for
so.
sewer, that's for water,
Sewer.
Sewer,
59 on the base plus 3%.
yeah.
Here's where development would help us
6,
considerably. This gets spread further out, so
$60.77.
Oh, so it went up from 59 to 60.
Yeah. Did I do that?
That's not right.
No.
No,
I
it's
just get
just
it. What'd you say it was, 59?
it's 59 and some change.
Okay,
Yeah, but I was
times
gonna say round it to 60.
3% equals $1.77.
Yeah,
So yeah.
Yeah, if you
take it
round up
to
$1.80.
$1.80.
But
Just over $60.
But if you just did it on sewer, yeah.
yeah, it's just $1.80.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I know.
and you know, I know, but the dollars add up, but I get it, because, you know, we pay some of the highest water bills in town, and of course they add up, and we're trying to provide low income housing, and, you know, so I know what you're saying about the dollars, but I also see the dollars on the other end that we're spending to maintain these systems and what we're putting out and what's coming in, and, you know, it's very unfortunate, but if we don't maintain these systems, then we're not gonna have anything.
Yeah.
You know, that, in my opinion, that sewer plant, we got a $3 million sewer plant that's worth $5. And, you know, it could go down completely tomorrow
Well, that's
by the
why.
looks of it, you know?
So,
Well,
that was my question on development,
and
because if we
hopefully,
can
yes.
get development, get some taps.
Absolutely.
And start
Yes.
collecting
Yeah.
the tap fees.
Well, not even
Yes.
just collecting the tap fees.
I know.
But it
It's,
would-
it's also the ability to spread that.
it spreads it out, spreads the
that
pain.
cost out further, you know, when you spread it out further.
Right.
Then it's not. You know, so hard on the 300 something accounts we currently have.
376 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be in my electric bill,
yeah.
which.
Well, that's going up too. Or now
6.7%
January.
in January.
6.7%,
Yeah.
yes.
That was awesome.
Yeah. So do we wanna do it towards sewer instead of water? It'd be similar number, right?
Yes, similar.
Yeah, they're running that to that now.
Yeah.
All
I mean,
Well, then how many people, let me ask this question, how many people, don't have sewer that have water? Remember, there's,
Oh, there's only like 4 or 5 accounts that are irrigation,
okay, all right.
Yeah.
like Nordman Park, the senior one. Farmer State Bank has an irrigation separate of their building. The school has an irrigation account separate from their buildings, so.
So is that making a big difference to, if we allocate it to sewer rather than the water?
I mean, it would be a little different, yeah.
I mean, if there's, you said there's only like 4 people, 4 accounts.
Yeah,
It's not very much.
It's
really.
not very much,
it's not-
honey.
yeah,
So is it better to do that? Does that help all the rest of the people in the town that have water, but not, well,
You're
Well,
just adding $1.80 on the base.
right,
Right.
well, and the ones that have irrigation.
Yeah.
It's additional to like his, he
Yeah.
already has, you know, the
Right.
4 plus or 5,
Yeah.
as I say, plus the irrigation.
Right.
The town, we have
One
2
irrigation too.
plus irrigation. The bank has their building plus an irrigation. The school has their buildings plus irrigation. So all of them still have sewer.
right, but if we do it to the water, then we're gonna get a little more revenue on this, right?
Not,
No,
I mean,
not much.
not much,
Okay.
because it's only those 4 accounts and they only run during the summer.
Okay,
So like they're all shut off now.
okay, all right. So-
Yeah, they've
I mean,
all been shut.
I see the most money here that we're gonna have to spend this year going to that sewer.
Oh, it's gonna be a big.
And just add a couple zeros on that 100, because that's what it's gonna cost. I mean, I got a number in my head and you probably don't wanna know what that number is. So it's good. Yeah, it's a lot. So. So we have a motion to increase the sewer by 3% on the base.
I make a motion that we increase it this year and then review it, obviously, at the end of the year,
Yep.
next year,
Yeah, it comes up every year for review. Mhm.
3% on the sewer.
You have a second?
A second.
Motion been made and seconded to increase the base water or base sewer rate 3%. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
Next item, town park project and community request for splash pad in Norman Park.
This is the other piece of paper I had at their stations when you sat down. I initially had included a letter from me in your packet, but I've since got more specific information regarding the proposed splash pad that they've been costing out. Which reduces the water usage considerably, once I had those specs from a consultant. So essentially what we're looking at is a partnership with the water authority. That would be relayed as such back to the Greater Outdoors of Colorado, which is GOCO, and then the granting authority that we're submitting an application to in January, or at least the concept paper in January. Through our first survey that went out to the community, we received about 120 responses. There was an overwhelming ask for 2 things. One of them is a jump pad, which I was not familiar with, but I guess it's one of those tracks where kids ride their bikes, ride their skateboards, and any wheeled recreational thing, and a splash pad. I didn't know what a splash pad was either. I guess I'm just really old, but once it was explained to me, I realized I had taken my kids to one numerous times. Cinemark movie theater in the Colorado Springs has fountains that come out of the sidewalk. And the kids can put on their bathing suits and run through the sidewalk and the water splashes on them, or they have these little things that hang down and it showers that on them.
Elizabeth has a splash pad.
That's what I recently found out. I didn't know that. So I guess there's a number of people in our community that are aware that Elizabeth has it. And they're looking for one here as well as pool. Pool doesn't fit in Kiowa at all. But a splash pad might be feasible. So the proposal was to that. It would be open from Memorial Day to Labor Day, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. So it's only open for a set period of time during the year. The new information I received, as opposed to what I originally put in your packet, was that this splash pad that's being proposed operates on a 350-gallon recirculating vault system with UV filtration and a chlorine treatment system. Based on the anticipated daily water loss from evaporation, splash out, water carried away on clothing and hair, the system is estimated to require approximately 500 gallons of replacement water per day. Over a typical 122-day operation season, this equates to an estimated 61,000 gallons of makeup water. Under the town's current rate structure, the first 3,000 gallons are covered by the flat base rate of $69.81. with all additional consumption billed at 7.65 per 1,000 gallons, which is the governmental water rate. With approximately 58,000 gallons falling in the billable category, the projected seasonal water cost is $443.70 for usage, resulting in a total estimated seasonal water expense of $513.51. This is just on this one project, okay? So right now, we're in the process of seeking formal commitment, or seeking an invitation from GoCo to apply in March. We do that through a concept paper we're submitting in January. GoCo is really big on community. We've had a lot of community input, a lot of surveys, a lot of activities that we've done to pull in the community. The consultant feels that having a partnership with you guys would further that with a show of partnership with a community entity, and ask that there might be a possibility of working out an agreement with the water authority that you would sponsor an annual seasonal water cost up to $500, but anything over and above that would be borne by the town. So it is a recirculating splash pad, so all the water goes back in. So what we're focusing on really is the evaporation and water loss through those other things.
I mean, I think that anything you can do to improve the town and improve the park and, you know, get people to use our facilities is a great thing. I mean,
Well, these improvements we have need to last us. I mean, I don't think we've done improvements to the park, well, at least Nordman for over 25 years from
Yeah.
what we can find in our.
2020 was the last time Home Depot came out and actually sponsored the playground equipment.
But if we're gonna do a thing, I would like to see a split on the water cost instead of up to 500, because if we've got an estimate of that loss, and they've probably done this before, and their loss is probably pretty accurate, I would think. And if we did a split with the town, I think it would make more sense, just do a 50-50 split instead of up to 500.
Do you think public nonprofits should be doing this?
I mean, I see it happen, yeah. So, I mean, I guess that's, what are you willing to give back to your community? I guess it's how I look at it. And the cost is nominal. I mean, if we could get our water loss down to 58,000 gallons a year, we'd be really happy with it.
Yeah.
Yep. Right? I mean, so that's just my opinion. I mean, everybody's.
So you were thinking about splitting that
Yeah.
500, we would pay about 250 and
Yeah, yeah,
that would be.
instead of boring the car, because, I mean, if the usage is what they say it is, we're boring the total cost, basically. So what I would like to see is if we make that commitment, we split it with the town, and then
Absolutely.
you bore, it's an equal cost, it's not, it's
No,
not put on the
and
water
that's-
authority.
Yeah, it's more methods or
Yeah,
pays for it.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be my.
No, that sounds.
What if cause here's my concern, cause I serve both of you guys,
I know.
so I worry about both sides. What if I told her I would come to you and ask you, and then I give her your consensus, because I'm good with whatever you say, to be honest with you. We asked for you to sponsor the $500. I would prefer language in there that says we split the $500. And anything over and above that, the town still takes the
I'd go.
the brunt of that. I don't wanna split the whole amount. If it ends up being more than $500, I don't want. You guys aren't in a position to do
No.
that.
No, we're not, yeah.
So,
Let's split the 500,
And the town board is in addition,
maintain everything
I like
else.
that. Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
So KWWA's max would be 250
Yeah,
And
okay,
this is annual?
yes,
Yes.
annual.
annual.
And-
Okay.
Yeah, and so I guess we need to talk about too, how that would look. Would that go on an irrigation? So it's not calculating sewer?
I would think, yeah.
Yes,
okay.
probably.
Irrigation
It
meter.
would be an irrigation meter.
Yeah, and you just read that meter separate, yeah.
Okay, and that's
Yeah,
something
'cause
we
it
can
won't
talk
have
about
sewer.
later.
Yeah.
So we submit the concept paper January 15th. We find out in March if we're gonna be invited to apply. No, we'll find out a couple weeks later if we're invited to apply, and then we apply in March, and we'll find out in June if we got all of the funding. But the splash pad, this is part of what she was waiting to finalize that concept paper with, so she knew if she could write that in there or not. And the survey, if you guys have not taken the survey, I need you guys to take the survey. It doesn't matter if you live here or not. I need you come in here, you serve on the board here. I need everybody's input on these parks. Because it's reflective of the community support of the project, and it's reflective of us listening to the community and what they're looking for. But yeah, we have to get all those things in by the end of this week to be able to finalize.
Did you get your grant to put bathrooms in?
We did.
Yes.
600,000, so we're able to use that and leverage that as a match to this ask.
And when is that going to be?
It'll probably all start next summer.
Okay, that'll be really nice.
Yes, well.
Now, how
Surprised how many people said, we don't need new bathrooms.
really?
Yeah. Don't put them near the houses. I'm like.
But we have so many people who come through there and know the gas stations will let them use their restrooms.
Yeah. No.
I've been embarrassed to say there's a porta potty at the park.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Instead of saying, here's our park and there's a nice restroom.
yeah.
No, that's been embarrassing.
Yeah, it'll be really nice, and it'll say, we're using all of our money that we get every year. Our money that we utilize for the parks is a lot of money. And it's only a percentage of what we sell in this town, so we're only pulling in like $12,000, and we're depleting that every year just on porta potty costs.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Well, and I would think that maybe if we can get the town group going again, I know there's been discussion, and there's actually been a couple of meetings, I think, with the businesses to get that group back going again, and you might be able to get some, maybe some business sponsorship to help support, more.
And we have the Main Street Board that started too, so.
Yeah, I mean, you might get some local businesses that say, hey, we value this, and put our name on it and say, hey, we're helping pay for this water or whatever,
Yeah.
I mean, you can think outside the box a little bit to get some of this stuff done too,
Yeah.
so.
Is there any issues with vandalism and things with the
Boardman
bathrooms?
Park, there is.
Okay,
Yeah. we're
how do you
looking at that
deal
right
with
now.
that?
We're having cameras installed
Oh, okay.
over there. Yeah, I'm waiting on an electrician people to come out and find out
Well,
what's electricity.
And the bathrooms that are being put in, like, I guess the old ones have
Oh, yeah.
like porcelain, and the kids would come with like baseball
Yeah.
bats and destroy them, these will not.
Okay.
Yeah, these don't have the ability.
Now, is this only in Nordstrom
parks.
or, both
No,
parks?
both.
Oh, is there, we've got a
Bathroom.
porta potty over that one, don't we?
We have a porta
Valley?
potty at, we have a handicap one at that one, just one.
Okay,
That's costing us $425 a month. And we have a porta pot, two of them over at Nordman,
yeah,
a handicap one and a
Yeah.
regular one.
So we'll get bathrooms at both.
okay, that's
Yeah.
great. On that grant,
Mhm.
that's great.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, love all the research that you're doing and coming up with the solutions.
We just won't be able, we just can't make these changes like this without that grant money. That grant money is really important. 56% of our budget next year is grant money. You know,
Well-
That's excellent.
And I also appreciate your diligence on the wolf compliance and
Yes.
all that stuff, and that's never, those are never easy discussions, but discussions need to be had, and we need to move on and get this thing.
Well,
good.
the
Good
tour
place.
made it easier.
Full,
Oh,
I'll
I
be
bet.
honest with you. I like Paul as a person. But my priority is
Right.
this water authority in this town, and it's not working for us.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not
if you're not living up to
back
the
then when we
contract
saw
either.
that, and we saw how much work is gonna have to be done, and we know in our hearts how much money it's gonna take to do that.
Yeah.
It was an easy decision.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
She's like, I'm.
6:30.
Whatever the clock says.
Also. 6:40. Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned at 6:42.